They thought I was sleeping, but I wasn't. They went outside to see my grandparents. While they were gone, I got up, took the candle to the door, and set the curtain on fire. While the curtain was burning, I walked under it, trying to touch the part of the curtain that was on fire. My mom started to smell something burning, so she rushed back into the room to see where the burnt scent was coming from. She entered the house and saw me standing under the heavy flame. Help! She loudly yelled, calling on my dad. Everyone ran to her and they put out the fire. Throughout the whole thing, I didn't ever get burned. In 2004, on a day I can't remember, I went to spend some time with my grandmother. The next morning, my grandmother left me with her niece and she went somewhere. The girl my grandmother left me with was making cornmeal, and she left me by the pot. It was on the fire, and she walked away. When I tried to go after her, I mistakenly hit the boiling pot, and the boiling cornmeal pulled on me. They rushed me to the clinic, and the doctor treated my leg. The next day, my grandmother took me back to my mother after they discharged me. To be continued.
Pooja Rai. Pooja was born in Nepal. She came to the United States in 2013. She's 18 years old now, and she's a senior at Fargo South High School. She plays soccer at South as a midfielder and a main defender. She speaks 4 languages: Nepali, English, Hindi, and a little bit of Spanish. Her favorite sport is soccer, and she wants to become a famous soccer player in the future. Pooja.
Life is complicated. Early in the morning, my dad came home. "We're going to America," he said excitedly. I did not believe him at first, then I became so happy and excited. At the same time, I felt sad too because I was leaving my friend behind. A few minutes later, my grandpa came toward us. "We're not going to America," my grandpa yelled it. "We're going to America because it was our dad's decision and we have to follow his decision," I told my kind grandpa. "तँ जान्छस् भने जा, but I'm not going," my grandpa yelled it at me. I was crying because I felt like my dad was lying to us. No. Why would I lie to you?" "Naru," my dad said. I went to my grandpa's room and I questioned him. "Kina najane?" I asked my grandpa. "I just don't want to go to the United States, and I do not you want to even ask me about it," he said. The next morning, I was getting ready for school. Our school usually started at 8:30 a.m. and ended at 3:30 p.m. We have to wear a uniform at school. If you did not wear a white t-shirt and blue skirt at school, the teacher used to beat us with the sticks. The teachers in back Nepal were so strict. In the afternoon, I went home from school for lunch. I was eating lunch and suddenly my grandpa came in. "If I yelled at you yesterday, and I'm really sorry. Do you know why I do not want to go to America?" He asked me. "Why?" I asked. "अमेरिकामा त साह्रो हुन्छ अरे, इङ्ग्लिस पनि बोल्न आउँदैन, कसरी गरी खानु?" he said without hesitation. The next day, I went to school with my friends, and they all were talking about going to America. In 2011, we had a big festival called Tihar. It is called a festival of lights. People were happily playing with the fireworks everywhere. I suddenly heard people screaming and yelling. I ran out of my house and saw devastating fire sweeping through the house in the camp. It destroyed many houses and injured many people. People were crying and did not know what to do. Everyone was depressed because they did not have food, shelter to survive. There was the moment when my grandpa realized that was not a safe place to live, and he decided to move America. As soon as my grandpa agreed to move, my dad started to fill immigrants paper. I was so excited because I was moving to United States. At the same time, I feel so disappointed. I was leaving my friends, families behind. I was broken heart because I was leaving my native country, the country where I was born and raised for 14 years. To be continued. Thank you.
Precious Torber was born on May 28, 1997, in Monrovia, Liberia. Liberia is a country located in West Africa. It is a country that speaks English, but has 16 different ethnic groups. She's from two of these ethnic groups, Kru and Gola. She moved to the United States on December 24, 2014, with her older brother, Cyrus Torber. Precious is a senior at Davies High School. She lives with her father, Meyer Torber, and her mother, Fatu Torber. She has one sister and 3 brothers. Her mother and father are from Liberia. She loves to sing and was in the Davies High School choir. After high school, Precious is planning to go to college and become a journalist in the future. Precious.
The surprise trip. Precious, precious, my mom shouted. I ran into my mom's bedroom of our house, which is located in Robertsfield Highway. Guess what? Asked my mom. I have good news for you. Your dad and stepmom called that you and your brother Cyrus are coming to the United States. I was so excited, I yelled, finally, I am going to see my dad after 13 years. Precious, do not tell anybody, not even your brother Cyrus, because if he knows, he's going to announce it to the entire community, my mom told me. It was November 2013 that my dad and stepmom called my mom and told her that we were coming to America. In 2004, when I was 7 years old, my dad left me in Ghana and came to the United States. In 2011, my father became a United States citizen. After he became a citizen, he and my mom filed in for me and my brother Cyrus to move to the United States, to the USCIS. But almost immediately after they filed in for us, a disease broke out in my country. This disease was called Ebola. It was a very terrible disease that killed many people that live in Liberia. Nearly the end of 2014, me and my brother Cyrus rode a taxi for almost an hour to the U.S. Embassy for an interview. And during the next year, we were eligible to come to the United States. So on December 24, 2015, we left Liberia for Casablanca, Morocco, which is located in West Africa. When we arrived, I wanted to use the bathroom so badly. When I asked for help, everybody I asked for help was speaking French. I could not understand them, and they could not understand me either. We finally arrived in the United States on December 25th. The JFK airport was very confusing. Then my aunt who lived close by, picked us up and took us to a hotel in New York City. The next morning, we went to the airport to take a flight to Minneapolis. When the first announcement about our plane came up, we were about 2 minutes away where the plane was. It was only 5 minutes for the plane to take off. So by that time, the last car came up for our plane. We were so confused and didn't know where to go. At that moment, a white man came our way and probably asked her, "Do you need help? Are you confused?" At that moment, we were so nervous and didn't understand anything he said. To be continued.
Roshan Gurung. Roshan is 18 years old and a senior at South High School. He came to the U.S. when he was 15 years old from Pathri refugee camp. He came with his grandma, mom, and 2 brothers. He speaks 3 languages, Nepali, English, and a little bit of Hindi. He plays soccer for Fargo South High School. His favorite subjects are math and history. He wants to become a theologist in the future. Roshan.
Many years of struggle. I was living in the Pathri refugee camp in Nepal, and the education wasn't very good. We wanted to move to the United States to have a better education. In order to come to the United States, we had to wait for my father to sign a form. It took a while to sign a form because he had married his stepmom. After 2 years, my father signed a form for us. And then we started our process. It was 2014 when we were ready to come to America. The next day, we took a plane for America. In the plane, we asked for food, and they brought us food, but it wasn't good. Yeah, it wasn't good. It was very different than what I used to, so I didn't even eat for a day. In our culture, if your parents cook for you, but you didn't like it, your parents will probably say, I have provided food for you guys. If you like it, eat. Otherwise, you'll be hungry. So we went hungry. In the morning, we took another plane to Fargo. I was very excited to see my relatives, but I was very tired too. That night, we went to my cousin's apartment. It was midnight and I was very hungry. I asked my aunt for food, and when she gave me some, it still smelled like the plain food. Do you have any other food? I asked my aunt. And she gave me some native spicy food, and that was much better. Yeah, that was much better. The next day of my registration of school, I had to start my school. I didn't even understand what I was learning there. I was confused and nervous. The first day went fine. Yeah, went fine. But the next day was so embarrassing. When I was in study hall class, I wanted to go to the bathroom, but I knew zero English. I walked up to the teacher and asked, "Me toilet?" She just looked at me like I was a weird person or something. "Me toilet?" I said again. As I know now, she didn't understand me because here they call bathroom or a restroom, but not a toilet. So I stayed in the class for 5 minutes. Finally, there was a one girl in the class who asked, "Can I go to the bathroom?" And the teacher let her go. I wonder, what does bathroom mean? I thought about the word bathroom in my head, bathroom, bathroom, something like that. So after about 20 minutes, when I felt confident about saying bathroom, I asked my study hall teacher to go to the bathroom. "Oh, bathroom, you mean bathroom? Yes, you may," she told me. Oh man, finally she let me go to the bathroom. Oh yeah, it's long journey from Nepal to America. I didn't even enjoy it, but after many years of struggle, I hope my family and myself will have a better life in this country, where is filled with the opportunities and diversity. God bless America.
Angeline Granu was born in Liberia. She came to the U.S. in 2011. She came with her 2 brothers, She lives in North Dakota, and she's a student at Fargo South High School. She likes soccer, volleyball, track, and dance. She participates in Upward Bound and Trollwood. In the future, she would like to be a midwife and a beautician. Angeline.
Life is a struggle. Why are people running out of their houses? I asked my mom. It have to do with the tropical fight. It won't last that long, she told me. Children was crying and people was yelling. Something like this had never happened in Nema County, Liberia before. After that day, my family decided to leave Nema County to move to the city of Monrovia. We lived in a bamboo house that was small and held about 4 people. After that day, armed rebels came and attacked us in our house at night when everyone was sleeping. We heard someone kick the door so hard it opened. They went in all the rooms, asking my uncles and auntie for valuables. Everyone that was in the house was yelling for help. They hit my uncle and hurt him on his eyes. We were all scared. When they entered the room that my mom and I was in, I felt like our lives was going to end. We were scared to death and shaking at the same time. I was sweating so badly. The armed rebel stood over my mom with a knife, threatening my mom, "Look, women, we did not come here for fun. If you love your life, give us what we are asking you for, or we will kill you," he told us. Luckily, he went back in the living room to call one more person to join him in our room. This is when we had the chance to hide ourselves in the corner when they were not there. After they left our room, we took my uncle to the hospital for treatment for his eyes. After a year later, my dad started paperwork for my mom to travel to the U.S. Once they were together, they would start to work on our paper for my brother and I to join them. We waited for a year before our document was ready. We woke up early in the morning to go to the embassy in Liberia. When we got to the embassy, we had to answer a lot of questions. After we got our visa, we had to wait for about 3 weeks before my parents was able to send our plane ticket. They want us not to tell anyone until the ambassador said everything was going to be okay. And our friends came to celebrate with us. It was a great time and we had fun and dancing. When the day came for us to come to the U.S., we got on the plane and the plane attendant told everyone to find their seat. An hour later, the plane attendant was serving food to the passenger. I did not like the food. Some of the food seems raw, and it looked like they put leaves in it. When we arrived at Chicago Airport, we switched our plane. We finally arrived in Minneapolis Airport. Our parent was waiting for us with jackets when we got on the plane so we can wear it because it was so cold. My parent, uncle, auntie, and cousin was so excited to see us. We took lots of pictures at the airport when we were walking outside. The place was beautiful and filled with lots of lights on the street. We went home, my family and I had a huge party, and we ate jollof rice. It was a lovely day for my family. Our life had been filled with struggle, but now we are all happy to be together, to be continued.
Emanuela Amponsa was born on May 9th, 2000. She was born in, she was born in Ghana. She is 17 years old. She came to the United States on August 27th, 2017 with her father. She is a junior at Fargo South High School. She speaks 2 languages, Twi and English. Her favorite subjects are math and English. She wants to be a nurse in the future. Emanuela.
An astonishing dream. I was sitting in class when suddenly the principal called me to his office. When I entered the office, I saw my uncle sitting next to the principal. "You can take her with you," said the principal. I did not understand what was going on. My uncle and I went out of the office. "Your documents are in," yelled my uncle. "Are you serious?" I happily asked. I was very happy when I heard that. "Where are my brother's documents?" I excitedly asked. "His documents are not ready yet," he replied. When I heard that, I became sad. "Ade inti na ne deɛ no amba?" I sadly asked. "I have no idea," said my uncle. "I grew up in Koforidua, Ghana. When I was very young, my father left us and went to the United States. My mother had to live in another city. My older brother and I were adopted by my grandma, but I always thought that she was my real mom. I had never knew my real mom. I also thought that my aunt was my sister. My grandma finally told me the truth when I was 14 years. The same year, my father came to bring my mother to the United States. When my mother arrived in the United States, she started filing paperwork for my brother and me to come. We waited so long for the documents. My brother completed high school. I finished junior high, but the documents were not ready yet. Finally, when the documents were in, my dad came back to Ghana. He took care of everything regarding the traveling. Sadly, 2 weeks I was to leave for United States. My grandpa died. We were so busy getting ready for our trip. We weren't able to see him when he passed away. I was supposed to have immunizations and go for an interview at the capital city of Ghana, which is Accra. I went in for my immunizations on July 24, 2017. After the immunizations, I nervously went in for an interview on August 1st, 2017. After the interview, they took my passport and told my dad to come for the visa and passport 2 weeks later. When we went home, we had a family meeting about my grandpa's funeral rites. We performed the funeral rites on August 15, 2017. The same day, my dad went in for my passport and visa. The people working at the embassy told my dad that I should depart from Ghana in 2 weeks' time. When we came to tell the family about the news, they were happy, but on the other hand, sad because of my grandpa's death. My grandma helped me pack my luggage. To be continued. Thank you.
Kushal Adhikari is from Nepal, and he moved to the U.S. in 2011 with his grandfather, grandmother, mom, and dad, and sister. He is a sophomore at Davies High School and will graduate in 2020. Kushal can speak Nepali, Hindi, and English. He wants to become an architect. He also wants to go back to his country and visit. Kushal.
As the ground shook, I heard a scream from a lady. Ah! I was walking and the ground began moving. It was an earthquake, but it was a small one, so nobody got hurt. It was in Kathmandu, the capital city of Nepal. Um, this was before I came to America. In the early 2011, I was in a refugee camp with my mom, dad, sister, grandmother, and grandfather. Um, my uncle, and cousin were already in Fargo, North Dakota before we came to the United States to live with them. Um, we did our paperwork while in Nepal with my parents, my uncle, and my cousin, but for some reason we are later coming to America. Um, when I heard from my family that we're going to America, I was very happy and हामी पनि अमेरिका जाने भयौँ नि I said to my friends. When I first got in the plane, I was very excited to be coming to America. The plane started flying and I was sitting next to my grandfather. Everything was like very little, and when I look out the window, I was enjoying the view. I said to my grandfather, like, "Kati सानो घर छ नि?" I asked him, and he answered, "Ho ta." The food was awful in the plane. Like, I didn't want to eat it, but my mom made me, so I had to. And when we changed plane, it was some plane was in night, so I had to I was waking in the nights, like when I was sleeping. I came to the United States when I was 9. Leaving my country was not that hard for me because I was really little and like a lot of people were already coming to America. They were moving, so when I left my home, like there was a lot of people crying because we didn't know if we were gonna see them again or not. And then as soon as I got here, I enrolled in school, and my sister and I found nothing to do. Like we couldn't leave our house because my parents wouldn't let us. They were worried about us, and we didn't know anyone really in here. And like a lot of people would come to our home, but we couldn't go to theirs because we didn't have a car. And that's all. To be continued.
Venkair Sango was born in Kalami, Congo, DRC. He is 20 years old. He came to the United States in 2016 with his parents, brothers, and sister. He is a senior at Fargo South High School. He speaks Swahili, Bembe, English, and a little bit of French. He works at McDonald's. He likes reading in his spare time. His favorite classes are algebra and social studies. In the future, he wants to be a police officer. Venkair.
On an unexpected journey, people had to run to save their life. Some fled to different countries where it was safer. Growing up in Congo was not safe because of the war and violence. When I was 2 years old, we left the country. Many people were separated from their family members. My family moved to Zambia, where we stayed in the camp called Mwange. The camp was located in the northern part of Zambia. All refugees in the camp were Congolese, so in school we had same school program as in Congo. Teachers were also refugees who fled together from the war. Refugee life in Zambia was not easy. We are not allowed to move out of the camp without having a pass signed by a refugee officer, and the pass has some limit numbers of days on it. We are required to return to the camp after a certain number of days on the pass was over. We stayed for 10 years in that camp, but soon after, the UNHCR could no longer keep refugees in that camp. We were given a choice to either go back to Congo or be transferred to another camp. Approximately 80% of refugees returned to Congo. I was so sad to get separated from my friend who went back to Congo. And I didn't have any memory of my country because I was only 2 years old when we fled the war. I thought my family would also go back to Congo, but my parents decided to move to a different camp in the same countries. We had to move from northern to northwestern part of Zambia, where the second camp was. In the new camp, life was different. There was not only Congolese refugees, but refugees from Angola, Somalia, Burundi, Rwanda, and Sudan. We had to go to same school as local Zambians. The teachers were all Zambians. A new system was a little bit challenged, but later on, I got used to it. We stayed in the second camp for 3 years, then we started doing interviews for visa process. 2 years later, we got accepted to the United States. I was so happy because people were saying in the United States, there's a lot of jobs and opportunities to go to school. While I was in the camp, I never had any hope of going to college. One Friday, I was eating supper